Okay, well, next on the program, we are very lucky to have the Consulate General of India, Nagesh Parthasarathi, who's, I hope I didn't do that too badly, who's going to offer his perspectives. As he's walking up here, I'll just say a little more. We just spent last week in India and went out to villages and spent time in Mumbai. And the challenges in providing energy access in many parts of the world are truly formidable, but the opportunity for improving the quality of people's lives is also so great. So with that introduction, please welcome Consulate General, please.
Good morning. Thank you, Director Sally Benson, for inviting me in this great opportunity. We just heard from Hawaii that the CO2 levels in the atmosphere has crossed 400 parts per million, which apparently is the highest level over 3 million years. So the timing of the launch of this energy report on the West Coast is also highly significant. For me, 300 experts, 200 reviewers, working so hard and producing one single comprehensive report, I think that itself is a tremendous achievement. I think I'll join all of this in congratulating the whole group in bringing out this very useful report. And of course, at 5.5 kilos, nobody can deny it's a weighty report. For me, what a little I could see, or what I could see from the report, or the summary of it, is that, first of all, it is not just focused on energy, it takes a holistic view just to resolve the problems comprehensively. Secondly, it shows that there is abundance of energy resources available to meet the needs of every human being on this planet. It is the question of accessing it economically and in a more wise manner, how to say it. Thirdly, I also realize that it is not only the energy resources that are available, you have inexhaustible and renewable energy resources that are available, which can be used to solve the problems and the needs. So that would provide the clean energy, the green energy, and try to repair the damage that has been caused by using a lot of fossil fuels in the past. For me, I also thought that the report, it doesn't project a picture of utopia in a future date, which possibly could be achieved. But I think it provides already a strategy so that you can achieve what they are talking about in the next couple of decades, probably. From that point of view, I think this has been an extremely useful, extremely timely report, which I'm not an expert, but even I can understand that this is so useful to everybody. When I say it is not a utopia, already things have started happening in what they are suggesting. For example, I was just reading that the SunPower and the Ford company, they are cooperating with each other, just not only to provide a hybrid car, but for under $10,000, they will also provide you a solar power station at your home, where you can put a charging station so you don't have to go anywhere. You can just come back home and charge it there. And already the big chains like Walmart and Lowe's and then Walgreens and many of these people, they have already started meeting most of their energy requirement through solar. And they are planning to ensure that wherever people go for shopping in these chains, you can go and shop, have your shopping experience, but at the same time, you can go and leave your car for charging. So the way that we energize our cars and various other things, I think that what we had been doing in the traditional way, that itself is changing completely, and I think this is a very promising thing. As he mentioned, the cost of production, particularly, let's say, in the solar field itself, I think the cost of photovoltaic cells and other things have come down by more than 30% in the last couple of years. And you have so much of capacity. And I think it's also mentioned in the report that over the last couple of years, the new addition of energy generation has been a significant part of it. It has been in the renewable energy sources based on that. And what is much more interesting is a good part of it is taking place in developing countries, including in Asia. This is something which is fascinating to see. Most of you would have heard that what we call the WTO regulations, where the country to country we provide the most favored nation access for trade facilities. But in terms of energy, I feel that the Sun has already considered countries like India as the most favored nation, because the trillions of kilowatt hours of energy that's available just from solar, if we can just use only a part of it, I think we can solve this problem. It's simply a question of, these are not low-hanging fruits, but we need to have a technology which can access it economically. In India, today probably we have something like 224,000 megawatts of energy capacity, energy generation capacity, of which almost about 33% of it is non-coal. It's largely hydro and non-conventional energy sources. We have to increase our energy capacity by at least 50% in the next 5 years, because the demand continuously rises, but at the same time, the production capacity is not increasing at the same time. So when we do that, we have a separate Ministry of Non-Conventional Energy Sources, and also we have the national program. One of the programs I can quote is called the Jawaharlal Nehru Solar Mission, National Solar Mission, by which we do provide considerable incentives and subsidies and various encouragement for using this non-conventional energy sources. That's what is happening. So just to, give a few examples of how and what can be done from my own experience, if I may. If you just go to Delhi, I think you had the delegation going to Delhi last week or 10 days back. We have one of the most beautiful modern temples there, which is called the Akshardhama Temple. It's a huge temple, architectural wonder. If you go there, the thousands of people visit there every day, and the food for everybody is cooked there using basically concentrated solar thermal power. These are the examples which, once it is there, then in India, multiplication is much easier. I can mention, for example, when I was in Senegal, based in Senegal, what we did was, we used to take 5 to 10 women. These are all mothers and grandmothers who have never left their villages. They don't speak English or any other, like French or any other language, and they don't read and write. We took them to India, got them trained we have a college called Barefoot College, run by Bankarai. So we trained them for 6 months and brought them back as solar engineers. And then some of the NGOs funded them to acquire the solar panels, the batteries, and other things. And these women set up the solar system in the villages. And in the villages, there are, let's say, about 50 or 100 families. Each family spent something like $3 per month to buy the candles. Apart from all other things, you look at the danger it has of fire and various other things. Out of $3, what they do is they save $2 and they give $1 each to that woman. And that's all. She maintains it and she runs it. And these are all living examples, whether you go to Senegal, whether you go to Gambia, whether you go to Guinea-Bissau, whether you go to various other countries. These are examples which are there today. These are being run and these are being maintained. Also, we tried out something in Gambia. What we did was we went and got a few corporates interested to just give them $2,000, $3,000 grant. Using that, we got one tube light and one portable torch, both solar. We got it from India. We distributed it to all the village families. And then from them, they collect only about 10 cents every week, just to ensure that they have a stake in the system. And also that 10 cents collected over a period of a year is used for replacement of batteries. So this is, India provides about $5 billion to Africa in 3-year period for cooperation projects. And there we do a lot of projects which are helpful to the people, including the solar energy provision and all that. You should just go to a remote place in Africa where for generations they have never seen a light bulb. And you just go there and you set up this, and they will welcome you using the microphone which is charged by solar. And the computers are running where the children can come and study there. I mean, the smile you can see on the faces of them. I can't think of any other better satisfaction that you can get by looking at them. These are the kind of examples. For example, in Gujarat itself, in India, they have 24/7 energy available in the rural areas. That is transforming the whole villages. What is happening is now they can have an ice cream shop, they can store medicines that are required in the refrigerator, and it has brought out a whole host of activity in the rural areas, which is also in a way solving the urban problems, because our former president, Dr. Kalam, had started something called the Pura program, that is providing urban amenities in the rural areas. So these are the things which are being done there, so it stops the other thing. These are the kind of solutions. From the report, it's very hopeful that they say that the governments will have to have a wise and long-term vision. So they should significantly understand the importance of the energy and the need to invest large amounts of money. This is very clear, very understandable. But as you will also see, many of the governments, although they are wise, they understand and do everything, they do have conflicting interests. Immediate necessity of food, water, health, employment, education. For example, in India, 220 million children go to school every day. Some of these numbers are mind-boggling. So to do all these things, at the same time, we don't know whether despite interest, despite everything, is it possible to provide some of these, the kind of money that is there. This is the reality of it. But does it mean that because we are not able to provide that much of money, whatever they are hoping for cannot be achieved? I don't think so, because in my view, what we think is, for example, I'll just give you 2 examples. In India, today we have about 950 million mobile phones. What you think of people who earn $1, $2 a day, and you think that they are the poorest of the poor, whom we thought that they were the burdens of the society, whom have to be helped and fed. These are the bottom billion have become the actually our, the people who buy things. They are your market. Every woman, there is no government subsidy that was given for them to buy telephones. They all bought it for one simple reason, and one simple reason alone, that is, if they save money and then buy that, that is beneficial for them. I think what we need to look at, what we need to see is, for example, in the solar energy, we need to have units, individual units. Anyway, in these cases, there's also possibility of avoiding your transmission and distribution losses. Can we have units, individual units, which can be set up either at home or can be at the village level as a group? So that this should not necessarily depend on, while we have a lot of subsidies today, this should not necessarily depend on subsidies. This should become viable, and this should become a business model. Like shale gas has changed the energy landscape here. There will be disruptive technologies that will come up and change things. There will be disruptive business model innovations that are required, that is to be done. For example, imagine in a country like India, where hundreds of millions of people do not yet have access to energy. Is there a business model that is possible so that you can go to the villages, somebody goes and, now the photovoltaic and various other things are available at almost a great parity or even much better. Can we go and set up these things in these places and make an economically viable model so that the people, like I mentioned the candle, they will say that if I go into this, it is beneficial for me. Only when you can generate that kind of an interest or that is a stake, I think there is a lot that can be achieved. And practically this can take off. In just about 10, 12 years back, one of our, entrepreneurs from India was arrested in Paris because he tried to copy a plastic tail light design for a car, because we had absolutely no ecosystem. Everybody will say, oh, it is not possible to manufacture this because there is no ecosystem in India, automotive industry, it's just not possible. But just look at after 10 years, today it has become a hub of manufacturing of small cars and exports. So what I'm trying to say is, in countries like India and even in Africa, many of these things can just take off if somebody can come with a disruptive, not just a disruptive technology, but disruptive business model. In villages, you can just go set up the units, and from each one, somebody can take $1 a month, something like that. And these are the kind of things, if we can bring it in, we can make the people interested. It's not the government's providing subsidies or somebody else trying to help or making the policies. Those are important, that will continue to do that. But at the same time, is there something we can make that the user have to have a stake and the user has to benefit out of it? If there is a stake and benefit in the longer term, I think it doesn't matter. In India, when we got the electric mixies, what you call the blenders, it used to cost quite a lot, but the poorest of the people used to go and buy it. They used to save for 1 year, 1.5 years, and they used to go and buy it because they find it is useful to them. So I think that is that is required to be done. And once you go into that, the momentum takes on its own. Secondly, I think as a group, I think we need to go in for something like common research or something like that, where the technology, new mechanisms that come out can be shared with all the countries, particularly these countries, and for providing grants for the carbon capture and storage, and for the sharing the IPRs, sharing the technology, and investments. Some of these things, these can be coordinated, I think we will go a long way in ensuring the report is implemented. And this tremendous report, I think the dissemination of this report to others who are interested, who will be the stakeholders, apart from the governments or the expert community or others, but actually those who will benefit out of it, to make it interesting for them is something. I don't know, it was Archimedes who said long time back that give me a small place to stand and give me a lever so that I can move the entire world. Like that, this report says, use this strategy for energy, we will change the world. This report can, and it will change the world because it is comprehensive. It contains a holistic strategy for developing in everything. And I think this is possible with everyone's support, and we need to publicize, disseminate this. And I wish them all the very best, and I congratulate them. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.